What's up YouTube? My name is André and I'll be reacting to the top 10 most beautiful states in the US. Before you go into the video, let me ask you for one thing right away. If you can leave a like, thank you so much for that. It's the best way to show support. For you, so easy. For me, can mean so much. If you can subscribe, oh man, you make my day. And guess what? If you want to give me some extra support, take a look at my Patreon, but no pressure at all. Now, English, not my main language, any mispronunciations, I'm sorry for that, and I leave the link for the original video below my description. Let's play it and see what this is about. Okay, actually a couple of predictions. California 100% will be on this list, probably position number 4. Montana, from what I've been reacting, is crazy beautiful, could be number 1. Texas, I'm not sure about Texas, but Texas, I find it beautiful, but maybe not on this list. But let's see it.
Before I say anything else, I have to say it isn't nice to judge. Every state is both beautiful and ugly in its own way. Take California, for example. On the one hand,
man, California,
you have Yosemite and Big Sur,
so beautiful.
But on the other hand, well, you have Skid Row and Stock.
Yeah, I mean, that is the other face. That's the problem, right?
To be completely honest with you, this was one of the hardest lists I've ever made because I really love the nature in so many states. But
man,
the West
so beautiful.
Really is best when it comes to beautiful and unique scenery. Now, don't get me wrong, I grew up in the Northeast, and while there is a lot of charm to the small towns and wooded habitats there, it just doesn't compare to the majestic vistas and untouched wilderness.
Dude, look at that landscape. That's crazy. That's crazy right there. Man, look, I have some real talk right now. I've been thinking for a long time, even before the YouTube channel, visiting America one day. But now I'm not sure, you know, not sure in this. No, I'm more sure to visit America, but I'm not sure which state at this point. Because I was like, I go to New York, maybe California, that's it. Man, but now I want to go to Texas, I want to go to Montana. And yeah, I cannot go to all, as you can imagine. So this is a bit overwhelming almost.
It's found in the West.
If you just had to go, real talk right now, guys. If you just had to go to one state in America, one, what that state would be? Texas, I believe it.
But don't worry, there are some eastern states on the list too. It does have a special place in my heart after all. Anyways, I ranked the states by their natural landmarks, national and state parks, ecodiversity, and accessibility to nature. Forget about good jobs.
Okay, so we have a structure to actually make this list. I like that.
Or city amenities. I mean, who cares about money when you're surrounded by this? Probably goes without saying, but this video isn't for the material girls. So here's to you fellow nature lovers, and if you aren't a nature lover, well, keep watching to see why you should be. Cause these are the top 10 most
this will be a good video, I'm telling you.
In America. Number 10, Maine. I know you're probably thinking, what?
Maine? I don't even know that state.
That doesn't look like Maine. Well, that's cause it isn't. It honestly was really hard to choose which state to put at number 10, so I'm starting the list off with an honorable mention. South Dakota. Wait, what?
Oh, what? No. South Dakota is quite beautiful. I saw a video about South Dakota the other day and blew my mind.
South Dakota? Yeah, it might come as a surprise if you've never been here, but that's because it's incredibly underrated. I was blown away on my first visit, and not just because the wind cave. From natural grasslands to the Badlands to Spearfish Canyon and Custer State Park to the Black Hills, which are a heck of a lot more than just 4 dead guys' faces on a rock. The diversity of nature in the Mount Rushmore state is mind.
Oh, South Dakota is where you have the Mount Rushmore. The president faces, right? Okay, that's good to know.
Boggling. I seriously have no clue why it's one of the least visited states in the country. But enough with my South Dakota obsession. Actual number 10 is Maine. You might not have given the Pine Tree State much thought if you live outside of New England, but as a New Englander myself, my family would take trips up here almost every summer, and let me tell ya, it is beautiful. Outside the Portland metro area, no, not the one in Oregon, the state.
Man, Maine is beautiful and I was not aware of Maine. Oh man, What the hell is this state? It looks kind of nice, actually.
It is pretty much just untouched, gorgeous nature and really cute, charming small towns, which means there are endless opportunities.
Ooh, small towns. I love small towns. Maybe Maine is my state, actually. I'm low-key kind of liking this one.
For adventure, whether you want to hike, ski, swim, kayak, hunt, or fish. And if you're lucky...
That's perfect.
Or maybe unlucky if you get too close. You might even see a moose. Maine's honestly one of the best kept secrets on the East Coast. From jutting cliffs to stunning beaches, if you include all the islands, Maine actually has more miles of coastline than even California. And
this state is insane. Am I crazy about that? Why is Maine number 10? This one for me has the potential to be top 5.
Speaking of islands, have you seen Mount Desert Island? It's home to Acadia National Park, which is pretty much the crown jewel of Maine. There really is no other place in America quite like it. Number 9, Michigan. Now this might be surprising too, but Michigan's actually another
Michigan. Do not know anything about.
State with more coastline than California. Granted, it's just surrounded by really big lakes, but they're so big that it almost feels like the ocean. You may have heard of the famously old-fashioned Mackinac Island, where cars are forbidden and horses and buggies transport you back in time around the Victorian town. But have you...
No chance. Is that true? Because that's amazing. No chance. Okay, Michigan. I like it, actually.
Heard of Isle Royale National Park? The 400 island archipelago is actually the least visited national park in the contiguous United States, mainly because the only way to get there is a 3-hour-long ferry. But
okay, Michigan is also beautiful, but I have a feeling the top 10 will be insane. Oh man. Okay, maybe Texas is not in the list because Texas don't have water, right? Like at least in such beautiful places with water.
if you make the trip, or honestly just go anywhere in the Upper Peninsula, the wildlife and scenery you encounter will literally feel like a movie.
So beautiful.
And let's not forget the multicolored Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore, the isolated hilly beaches at Sleeping Bear Dunes, and Headlands International Dark Sky Park, which is one of...
I love this stuff. If this does not make you believe in God, I don't know what will. It's so crazy when you look at the... When you can actually see the stars is overwhelming. There is a good place in Portugal where you can do this, and it's breathtaking.
The best places to see the stars, and if you're lucky, the Northern Lights. I could go on and on about the beauty of Michigan. I mean, there are freaking ice caves and a rock jutting out of the water that looks like a turnip. Number 8. Oregon. When you think of Oregon, you probably just think of hipsters in Portland, or maybe something like this or this. But
Oregon, you think about hipsters? Why? There is a lot of peace and love there. Is that why?
Beaver State has pretty much every type of biome imaginable. You probably didn't know this was in Oregon, or this. The ecosystems here are seriously so dang diverse that each region feels like its own country. From beautiful beaches bordered by sinkholes, sand dunes, and giant rock islands, to lush national forests teeming with literally thousands of streams and waterfalls, to charming artsy towns like Ashland, Bend, and Hood River, the entire state just feels enchanted. The Cascade Range also runs through the middle of Oregon and is home to some of the most beautiful mountains in the country, and Crater Lake National Park.
Man, this state is beautiful again, I mean...
Which is literally a giant blue lake at the top of a volcanic crater. It's honestly one of the most unique and gorgeous settings I've ever seen.
Oh my
God. I haven't even mentioned the eastern half of the state, with places like the Painted Hills and Owyhee Canyon Lake.
Oh my god, okay, this state is actually ahead of the other two. Did you guys saw those landscapes? This is Oregon, right?
That you'll swear must be photoshopped. Oh, and there's also Hell's Canyon, aka the deepest gorge in North America, with a nearly 8,000-foot vertical drop into the Snake River. Needless to say, there's a lot more to Oregon.
That looks some Bob Ross type of painting. What the hell? That's amazing. Oregon may be number 1 for me at this point. I really hope the others can compete, because this was quite stunning, honestly.
Oregon than just Portland. Number 7. Colorado. Denver might be overrated, but there's a
Colorado?
reason why so many people are moving to, or at least vacationing in the Centennial State. Take a drive on I-70 and you'll see why. Every curve of the interstate reveals a breathtaking view of the Rockies before following the Eagle and Colorado rivers through the canyons into a landscape that looks like Mars. And this is honestly the least scenic route. The mountains are just gorgeous all around, with 58 peaks exceeding 14,000 feet. By far the most of any state. In fact, there are only 4 states in the country that even have one 14,000 footer. But while the Front Range is magical, Colorado is so much more than just a beautiful mountainous region full of world-class ski resorts and hikes. Head to the southwest near Durango and you'll find some of the most well-preserved Native American pueblos at Mesa Verde National Park. Or you could head to Colorado Springs to find some of the most beautiful red rock formations at Garden of the Gods. And Colorado's also home to the tallest sand dunes.
Not feeling Colorado. Sorry, guys. I don't know. I thought at least the image the guy is showing, I'm not feeling it. I thought Oregon was quite more beautiful. So sweet. So we have to do a switch right there.
In North America. This state is honestly so diverse that even if you spent your entire life here, it still wouldn't be long enough to explore all the unique environments the area has to offer.
It's beautiful, don't get me
Number
wrong.
6. Washington. Seattle and rain.
Washington, really? I need some really good arguments on this one.
Are probably the first 2 words that come to mind when you think of Washington. But this state is so
Oh man, and we start well. That's beautiful.
much more. Don't get me wrong, on the days where it isn't misty and rainy,
Man, that looks like a painting with. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, Washington, you got me. I admit you got me.
and you can actually see Seattle's one of the most picturesque cities in the world. But the constant rain kinda is what makes the Evergreen State stay, well,
Green, but I kind of like rain. You guys, I like it. I mean, I think rain is so cozy. But
Evergreen.
you cannot go outside. I get the point.
Speaking of Evergreen, North Cascades National Park might be one of the most beautiful places.
That's so overwhelming again. Oh man, well man, I was talking bad about Washington. What the hell was I doing? Never mind. We are back on the Washington trend.
On Earth. I mean, have you seen Mount Shuksan? Well,
Jesus.
probably not, because it's also one of the least visited national parks, which is weird since it's only a 2-hour drive from Seattle. But even closer to Seattle are the majestic
What the hell am I doing in my country? That's so beautiful. Oh my god.
Olympic Mountains, and even closer is Mount Rainier, which is the most prominent peak in the continent.
Okay, what's the name of this mountain? Because it's so beautiful to see it on... Jesus, Washington is beautiful. Okay, never mind. Bye-bye, Oregon. We have a new king in town, Washington.
United States, and also an active volcano. But hey,
Oh, that's a volcano. Okay. Yeah, still beautiful.
I'm not here to judge Seattleites' life decisions. It really was hard to choose which Pacific Northwest state to put higher on this list, but while Oregon is very geographically diverse, Washington is even more diverse. The Evergreen State is home to 63 different...
No, that's a painting. 100... No, that's a painting. Come on. This is it. No. I mean, even the No, this is Bob Ross type of art. I'm telling you guys.
Different mountain ranges, the largest expanse of temperate
Oh my
rainforest
God.
in the U.S., tons of waterfalls, rivers, lakes, and ecologically unique islands, the Columbia River Gorge and the Scablands, the Palouse Hills, and charming mountain towns like Leavenworth. You
got
know,
me.
maybe
You got
it
me.
is worth living under an active volcano to be near all that.
Who cares? I mean,
Number 5, Utah. From the Rocky Mountains
Utah? Not sure about this one. I have to say it. I've been reacting to a lot of stuff, but not a lot of talks about Utah. Top 5. Man, Oregon and Washington are not top 5. What the hell is this guy doing? Let's see it.
to desert canyons.
By the way, my take about Texas, let's forget about that, okay?
It isn't hard to see why Utah has the third most national parks in the country. You've probably heard of Zion and Arches. And no, that's not the moon. That's just Canyonlands National Park. There's also Bryce Canyon and Capitol Reef National Park, and a boatload of national monuments and forests, which are equally as impressive. As you can see, Utah sure...
Oh my god, that's beautiful. I kind of like it. I love snow. And actually, I live in a place where there is no snow. But everyone tells me you like snow because you never live in a place with snow. So, yeah.
There's a lot of similarities with Colorado and Arizona, but also has a lot of uniquely Utah things too. And I'm not talking about fry sauce. Besides the national parks, there are 43 state parks, and no, I'm not about to list them all, but just look at how pretty they are. The coolest thing about Utah, in my opinion, though,
Insane.
is that most of the nature is completely untouched, and aside from the super popular national parks and ski resorts like Zion and Park City, it's almost never overcrowded with tourists. If it had a coastline, Utah would probably be number one on this list, but it doesn't. And before you say, hey, what about the Great Salt Lake? Nobody actually likes how the Great Salt Lake looks, or smells for that matter.
Okay, Utah was beautiful. Man, Washington was a bit more impressive for me. Do you guys agree?
4. California. I know a lot of you are probably wondering...
California? Okay, California makes sense. But now after watching this, I'm not sure about California. Because California, I know have a beautiful beaches, but... okay, I need some good arguments. Because the last time I was talking bad against Washington, and all of a sudden, this guy destroyed me with facts.
Why isn't California number one? I mean, it is the most geographically
Oh my god, I did not even know California have those.
diverse state in the country by far, housing nearly every type of climate zone in the world. But the one thing keeping it out of even the top 3 on my list is just all the overcrowding and pollution.
I'm out. Overcrowd and pollution, I'm out. Specific overcrowd, pollution I could deal, people, I'm out.
Most of the national parks are 4 to 5 hours out of the cities. There are still so many people. Sure, there are a few secret spots where you can find some peace and quiet, but if you aren't a local and don't know what you're doing, you're never gonna find them. What you will find is 3,400 miles of pristine coastline and some of the best beaches in the world. To the south,
they look amazing.
And Laguna, but more north, there's also Carmel, Moonstone Beach, Bowling Ball Beach, and the incredible Big Sur. But actually, don't go there because the locals do everything they can to hide the best spots from tourists. So why don't you head on over to one of the 9 national parks or over 300 state parks instead, both numbers being the most of any state. Try Yosemite, the Redwoods, or even Death Valley. Seriously, I cannot state this enough. Almost every type of scenery.
Jeez, that's... Okay, California is beautiful. Oh man.
Imaginable is here. The problem is that people litter and their pollution is destroying the environment, and not nearly enough funds are being allocated.
Okay, question time. At this point, I mean, yeah, most of the people are not watching the video anymore at this point because I can see the retention on YouTube. But for the ones that are watching, one question. From what I know, California have crazy taxes. Am I right about that? But I think I am. Overpopulation. You also have all the homeless situation. Why is people going there? I mean, it's not like that you guys lack beautiful places in America. Why is people going to California? Networking? Could be in a networking, right? But for the regular guy, networking is not a thing. Let's be real.
To protect it. But what can I say?
Probably pays very well, but I mean, if you have... I assume the real estate market is also bananas there.
It's not like money grows on trees. And even if it did, California would have probably burned through it by now.
Oh, the wildfires.
Number 3, Hawaii. Hawaii is by far...
Ooh, I almost forgot about... I keep forgetting this is a state. Yeah, Hawaii is beautiful.
the smallest state on this list, so I guess it goes to show that size doesn't matter. Because what the Aloha state lacks in size, it makes up for in sheer beauty. There really isn't a single part of the islands that isn't jaw-droppingly gorgeous. Each of the 7 inhabited islands is entirely different in its own way, but some notable views are the Nepali coast and Waimea Canyon on Kauai, the bamboo forest Honokohau Falls, and the road to Hana on Maui, the sea cliffs of Molokai, Lanikai Beach and the Coco Head crater on Oahu, and Mauna Kea and Volcanic National Park on Big Island. In fact, the Big Island alone has 11 of the world's 13 climate zones. From the history to the...
Can I be honest, guys? I'm a bit lost. I don't know what state I like the most anymore. Hawaii is also crazy beautiful.
Culture to the waterfalls, volcanoes, hiking, and world-class snorkeling and surfing, Hawaii is one of the most unique and diverse states in the country. Not to
I believe
mention
it.
the nearly perfect weather with tropical temperatures and 270 sunny days a year. Number 2,
I believe it.
Montana. In contrast to the last 2 states,
I knew Montana would be on this list. Montana is crazy beautiful because of the Yellowstone.
Montana has exactly 0 miles of coastline. So how the heck did it make it so high on this list?
Does not
If you're
matter.
seriously asking that question, you need to visit the Big Sky State, where, yes, the sky really does seem bigger. We all know Colorado is the Rocky Mountain state, but honestly, the Rockies in Montana remain unparalleled. The mountains loom majestically over vast and colorful valleys dotted by the lakes, rivers, and wildlife that run through them. A trip to Yellowstone will leave you bewildered by the power of nature, but the
I believe
lesser-known
it.
Glacier National Park is actually, in my opinion, the most beautiful national park in America. And in the eastern half of the state, you have a complete contrast with places like Makoshika State Park with its badlands and dinosaur fossils. There are actually 55 state parks in the state, including the Lewis and Clark Caverns, Flathead Lake, Palisade and Kootenai Falls, and Bighorn Canyon. But honestly, the entire state could be a national park. Drive through just about anywhere here, and you'll have a hard time finding a view that doesn't look like a painting, even in the urban areas like Missoula or Bozeman. And on a clear night, you might even see the northern lights. Now, before we get to number 1, leave a like, subscribe, and let...
Number 1. Man, what is it? Okay. No chance it's a state like New York, right? No chance. Oh, okay. I know it's beautiful, but could be Alaska, because Alaska, in terms of it's probably Alaska, right? Because it's so beautiful in terms of wild nature.
Let me know what you think the most beautiful state
Do
is.
not forget to leave a like.
Without further ado, number 1. Alaska. Speaking of the Northern Lights, could number 1 really be anything but? Alaska is more grand, vast, and untamed than any other state. And it's not even close. It even has more coastline than every other state combined. And that coast varies widely from the volcanic Aleutian Islands to glacier-lined black sand beaches to craggy cliffs to forested fjords. Sure, it does get really cold in some parts.
Jesus, Alaska is so beautiful, actually. Yeah, it kind of makes sense to be the number 1, actually.
But there is a heck of a lot more to Alaska than just snow-capped mountains. The Last Frontier is home to 8 national parks, each featuring incredibly different landscapes, ranging from Denali, home of the tallest mountain in North America, to Kenai Fjords, Gates of the Arctic, Glacier Bay, and Wrangell St. Elias, which is actually the largest national park in the nation. And while there are also 156 state parks to boot, Alaska's still the least visited state in the US, which might be due to the fact that there aren't many roads leading to the parks. You'll actually have to charter a plane to get to most of them. But that's also why the population density is just 1 person per square mile. So there are literally thousands of miles of untouched unique wilderness, and you're probably more likely to run into a bear, moose, or muskox than another person in the nature here. Where else can you find over half the world's glaciers, fjords all
This
along
was
the
heavy.
coast, rainforests,
In a good way.
volcanoes, the 10 tallest mountains in the country, and even sand dunes? Alaska is by far the most beautiful state
believe
in
it.
America.
Hey, sorry. Thank you so much for watching, my friends. This was an amazing video, to be quite honest. I think probably the one that really blew my mind was Washington, because I was like, Washington, what the hell? Why is this on the list? But Washington was breathtaking, to be honest. I thought Alaska was also amazing. This last one, I mean, all of them ended up being quite amazing. To be fair, even Oregon was insanely beautiful. You guys are lucky enough to live in any of those states. If that's the case, leave a like, yes, but leave a comment. That would be nice to see your perspective. Because look, one thing is watch this on YouTube and react with all of you guys, and that's great. But I love when someone that actually lives in the US, experience the stuff that we are watching, leaves a comment and explains this is actually correct, or I may disagree with this because I have experience traveling to that place. And what I'm trying to do on YouTube is basically trying to, first of all, to learn, and to have a sense of community. And I believe the comment section is what gives the YouTube channel that. Don't forget to leave a like, guys. See you guys next time. Bye.